can't think of anything to say. I nod. He releases my chin and pushes the door open into the dazzling sunlight of mid-afternoon. My eyes burn and I stumble slightly into the parking lot. Geez, kind of a lightweight, aren't you? What? I didn't even drink. It's the sun. Look, you were drinking and now you're stumbling. Yeah, you've got to admit defeat at some point. You're charming when you're flustered. Come on, let's go before the chief has a fit. We climb into the car and I'm still squinting in the bright sunlight as Blue starts the engine and pulls out of the parking lot, heading towards the bureau. This is drink driving. This is probably illegal and 2 police officers shouldn't be doing it. Either our engine just shot... Oh, okay. I say either our engine just shot or we just got shot at. It's not. It's to signify a new chapter starting. We pull up outside HQ, the brakes screeching to a stop outside the central tower. Pretty nice background again. Faceless, rather weird-looking police officer there. Something to do with his stance. I can't quite tell what I find weird about it, though. It's a metal tower. That looks really, really, like, out of place. It's just as impressive up close as it is from afar. An impossibly tall monument of steel that harkens back to ancient times when humanity thought they could accomplish anything. The tower, aside from being the headquarters for the Bureau, also anchors the dome's force field. It is the very symbol of the elite, those who live under the Bureau's protection. Now, though, the rust on the outside is showing through after centuries of abuse. Less a soaring tower and more a massive monument marking a grave, that of planet Earth. The massive metal gates creak open and the car edges inside, coming to a stop in the parking lot for authorized employees. The area outside the tower is heavily fortified and constantly under watch. Okay, so these guys aren't traffic wardens, is what you're saying. It looks so horrible inside. I don't know why, but this mildly freaks me out. As we push through the doors, the smell of paper and mint hit me at the same time. Chief Noble hates the smell of paper, markers, and basically anything else associated with an office, so a fake peppermint scent constantly hangs in the air. Oh boy. Every time I walk inside, I can't help but think how unusually lavish it is. Even for the chief, the large open lobby is characteristically quiet. However, I know that the scene in the bureau office is the exact opposite of the spacious, silent old lobby upstairs. It's cramped with desks and people and bustles with activity. Agents, secretaries and filing clerks dart here and there, weaving webs of words so it's impossible to pick out any one particular conversation. Being in the pit always makes me feel strange, like I'm a weird little satellite that's been knocked out of its orbit, while everyone else is on course somehow. I've never been quite sure where I belong in the larger pattern, or where the strand of order it must exist that ties all this chaos together. It's way, way above your paycheck. It's not worth thinking about. Miss Pierce, the chief secretary, appears as though out of nowhere even when I turn around. Her hair is in a tight bun, her eyes are partially obscured by her customary glasses. Partially? You cannot see anything, sword you. I'm still not quite sure what color her eyes are. I take another look, but it's impossible to tell behind those silver moons. You could ask. She probably won't tell you, but you could. You're smiling at least, even creepier. Good, you two are here. The chief has been waiting for you. Sorry, we came as fast as we could. No matter, here are your briefing packets. Read them in the elevator. No need to press any buttons. The door slides open as if waiting for us. Probably motion detection, really. All 3 of us step inside the elevator and the door slides shut with a click. Miss Pierce stands stoically with her hands clasped in front of her as the elevator shoots up a countless number of floors into the sky above the city. I barely glanced at mine, urgent Zala's suspected rebel attack, when, with an anticlimactic ding, the door opens. When we walk down a short hallway, turn left and right, then a step through the door into a lushly carpeted room. Oh my god, he looks like a Street Fighter character. He does not look like the kind of person you want to be pissing off. Welcome, agents. Why don't you take a seat? Yes, sir. The chief sits at a large mahogany desk. He is impeccably dressed as per usual. Impeccably, he's wearing a drug dealer suit. The room around him is decorated with portraits of former chiefs, men and women who no longer have any memory of being the chief of the Bureau, and a few plants scattered here and there. The large screen on the far wall displays pertinent information about the city. Okay, less so like a Street Fighter character now, more like an X-Men character. Also, not a drug dealer suit, because it's not white. Weird, I thought it was. It must have been the light. Also, we saw actual real colouring for a second there, didn't we? That's cool. Blue and I sit in chairs opposite his desk. I fold my hands in my lap and look at him steadily. We're on high alert, agents. I think I found my opportunity to quash the New Moon Resistance once and for all. The New Moon Resistance. They're not even trying with their name. Have you read your briefings? Even if you have, I'll summarize the situation. Okay, so that was a useless waste. We have received intelligence that the rebels are planning an attack on the dome. Clearly, if such attack were to be successfully carried out, it would be devastating to the city, as would any attack by resistance, yes. However, this also means they have a great deal to lose if their plan fails. Despite the fact that it's most likely just one resistance cell, stopping them will throw the others into temporary disarray. If we combine this with a decisive strike on the enforcers, by the enforcers, we could completely wipe out their command structure and remaining forces. I think you're being optimistic with the latter, but okay. We should negotiate? I mean, they're the ones planning an attack on us. That's too... it just sounds good to me. War. I see, quite frankly, I like the idea that New Moon Resistance has gone far longer than it should. What is our law thing? Alignment. It still doesn't say. I wish it would. Quite so. I have the feeling you aren't just trying to get on my good side. Of course not. I wouldn't have joined the Bureau if I was buddy-buddy with some resistance thugs. Indeed. Then it seems we are in agreement. A good thing too, because I was just about to give you this assignment. Sir? I was most impressed with your undercover work on the tech bust. We may have failed to capture Zala, but we did nab one of her associates, and that's something no agent was able to accomplish until now. It wasn't difficult, and we almost got ourselves killed, but yeah, other than that, it was easy, mate. And thank you. Because of the increased activities in Zala's cell recently, we strongly believe that she is the one behind the rumoured attack. If I may say, sir, where did we acquire this intelligence? The rebel we caught in the alley has been most forthcoming with a little help from the enforcers. Miss Pierce, so it's probably not true. I forgot Miss Pierce was even in the room, but she is suddenly at the chief's side with a folder held in her petite hands. Yeah, actually really small hands, wow. She's writing weirdly, though. Yes, sir, according to the rebel, the attack is set to take place within the next week. He did not give us the location of Zala's base. We don't believe he knows it. Blue makes a small grunting noise. It sounds a bit like disgust. Something wrong, Agent Blue? Nope. Just thinking about how confident you sound about that. Indeed. Continue, Miss Pierce. He does not know Zala's whereabouts. However, he did give us the location of one of her closest confidants. Through them, we can reach Zala. We just need an inn. And that's where you come in, Agent Violent. Hang on, did we say we were going to be good? Well, we fucked that up, didn't we? Misa? Yes, as I said, I was most impressed with your work. Your skills as an Esper make you a tremendous asset. But why not Blue? I'm sure someone with more experience would be more suited for the job. Perhaps, but I'm interested in seeing the full extent of your abilities. That, and he isn't exactly cut out for this sort of work. Blue is insulted, I can feel it, but we both know it's rather true. He's more of a man of action than someone who would be willing to sit around and wait. Don't get me wrong, Agent Blue, you're one of the best clairvoyants, but we need someone with more finesse. Okay, well, hopefully he'll take it into good stride. Understood, sir. He did, sweet. Blue and I exchanged the briefest of looks while the Chief looks expectantly at Miss Pierce. Violet, you're going to be sent in to make contact with a member of Zala's cell. We want you to go under the cover that you're looking to be recruited. You'll inhibit your powers until you get really close. Once you have access to Zala, you'll be able to find out exactly what her weaknesses are. I see two potential problems here. Yeah, I think it takes a long time to get to Zala. Yes? First, you want me to infiltrate and gain access to the cell in less than a week. How am I going to garner that much trust that quickly? You don't need to actually be part of the attack plan. You simply need to get close enough to find out how to stop it. And, in an optimum scenario, take out Zala. Okay, good. So Zala's seen us. And this is a terrible idea. You want me to kill Zala? Yes, if at all possible. What have we been talking about all this time, Agent? Zala's cell may be small, but she's one of the Renaissance leading figures. Without her, they would suffer serious blow to their morale. It's simple logic. Okay. And? Huh? You said there were two issues. What is the second? Right. The second is that Zala knows who I am. She got a real good look at me when she was holding a knife to my throat. She would recognize me immediately. That won't be a problem. It won't? Pierce is also the head of the Bureau's Science Division. I'm sure she can remedy that issue. Oh good, so we're going to get a disguise. Something tells me I'm not going to like this. Agent Blue, you are to be on standby in case Agent Violet needs assistance. If her cover is compromised, you are to protect her as best as you can, but do not take substantial risk to your own life. We'd like to limit casualties. Hey! What do you mean limit? You're just assuming I'm going to die if something goes wrong. Good. Yes, sir, I will readily... Sir? Didn't she say that? Whatever. I will readily step in if things go bad. However, I will not hesitate to put my own life in jeopardy should the situation call for it. Very well, you've always been rather stubborn when it comes to your own partners, Agent Blue. I feel it is part of my job, sir. He just doesn't want me to die. Don't have a go at him for that. Indeed. Well, agents, you should get a move on. You are dismissed. You start your undercover work tomorrow, Violet. Understood. Miss Pierce and the Chief watch Blue and I walk out of the room, standing shoulder to shoulder behind Chief's desk. As we make our way back through the halls, a mild feeling of trepidation lingers in my mind. How good is this disguise going to be? What are the chances that I'm going to make it out of Zala's cell, and even into her cell, alive? Almost none. Almost none. As I walk towards the elevators, I realize that Pierce is following me. She gently grabs my arm, pulling me away from Blue. I'm afraid that you'll have to go back alone. I'll need to take her for a moment. Blue doesn't miss a beat, waving me off with his back turned. As he steps onto the elevator, I feel a bit of a chill being alone with Pierce, but I can't quite place the feeling. Can you not because they're an alien? I wonder. That'd be a cute little twist. I'll have to measure you up for your disguise. I hope you haven't been neglecting your health. Of course not. I feel quite well, thank you. That's good. Come on, the lift is here. Good. So we're going to be perved on by Miss Pierce. Can't wait. We step onto the other lift together and the doors close, the cab plummeting downwards. I feel like it goes on forever, even longer than our trip upstairs. We must be in the bowels of the tower by now. As the door hisses open, I smell the dank scent of ancient mildew. Probably not the dank we're thinking of, as I was entering a crypt. It does look a bit creepy. Please don't, throw me in anywhere, get me frozen. The dim hallway before us is starkly caved out of concrete, stainless steel doors dotting it in orderly intervals. The only sound is a dull drone which pulsates almost like a heartbeat. Pierce goes ahead, leading me farther down the hall as the sound of her heels echoes off the walls. As I follow her, I still try to puzzle out what feels uncanny. Suddenly, I come to an unusual realization. It's not a strange feeling, but rather the lack of any feeling. Usually I can sense the waves coming from another's mind. The average person doesn't bother to control their thoughts, that is, if they even have the ability. But Pierce, it's almost like the difference between a tip jar and a bank vault. I can feel her brain working, but try as I might, I can't get a bead on her emotions. I'm telling you, man, the reason she's hiding her eyes is because her eyes aren't real, or something like that. Her eyes are a really weird colour. Whenever I try, it's like I run on a mental wall. Is she like this all the time, or is it because I'm here? What's the matter? You're acting as though you've never seen this place. A sudden utterance startles me, but I maintain my composure. Should I have? It's an unusual degree of memory loss. To forget the ritual that takes place here, wouldn't you say? It happens here? I rack my brain, but I can't ever recall being in the basement of the Bureau. Blue was right. My memory loss really was severe. Strange, I don't seem to remember seeing you undergo one either. That's impossible. I'm part of Spectre, aren't I? Yes, indeed you are. In fact, the records say that I myself approved your induction. Maybe the Selenon had their own reasons for making you forget. The Selenon, eh? That is the only possible explanation, right? The Selenon work in mysterious ways, I suppose. It's best if we probably ignore it. We brought up the aliens and she chose to ignore it. There's something weird here. After all, we can't have errant thoughts interfering with your power. It makes my mind vulnerable to attack. You seem to know quite a bit about physics. Oh, psychics, not physics. Of course I am. After all, the assistant to the chief, I deal with them all the time. She stops in front of one particular door, which seems to be no different than all the rest. It whirs open and I enter what looks like the backstage to a vaudeville show. Racks of surprisingly snazzy outfits line the sides of the room, and a large lit mirror hangs on the back wall above jars of makeup. Is this really where you work? I was expecting something more boring. Yeah, less showbiz. Oh, is that what you think of me? No, of course, I meant more businesslike. Actually, Agent Yellow did the decorating, I had nothing to do with it. Whoever it was seems to like theatre. Tell me, Violet, have you ever read Shakespeare? Would you judge me if I said no? Who's Shakespeare? Oh, Jesus. That's a worse answer than I was expecting. He is a man who once wrote, "All the world's a stage." It's so bad. It's too bad I'm so terrible at acting. Actually, I'd say you're quite good at it if you got this far. Pierce takes a small device from her pocket and points it at me. A blinding beam of light emits from it, superimposing a glowing red grid on my body. She slowly walks in a circle, pausing at 90-degree intervals. What was that light? And where it's harmless, just a few more seconds, alright, scan complete. Could you stop shining it in my eyes? Oh, sorry, I must have slipped. Pierce puts away her scanner. Now that I have your measurements, how would you like your new self to look? New self? I didn't really give it much thought. She was looking up something else there. She already has our measurements, I swear. Just make me look modest and unassuming, alright? I don't want to attract any unnecessary attention. I see, just as I thought. One moment. She does an about face and is about to march out the door when I stop her. Excuse me, what am I supposed to do now? Get undressed, of course. Don't worry, it's not like anyone is looking. Oh, great. Oh, even better. The statement doesn't exactly reassure me. I suppose I have no other choice. Unbuttoning my blouse, I remove it and place it on the table nearby, following by my shoes and my dress until I'm clad only in my bare essentials. Running my hands across my skin, it almost feels foreign. I think back to the conversation with Blue about my past. I feel like the Selenon know more about me than I did. Yeah, they do. That is objectively true. Still, I have no regrets. I must have had a reason for what I did, a very good reason. And the one person I cannot afford to doubt is myself. The Selenon know about my past, but I had to make the decision to become an agent. It's not just something you're forced to do. People become agents in their own free will, right? Yeah, sure. It applies for everyone else, so why shouldn't it apply to me? There isn't anything different about me. I'm Violet. You know, that looks like a mildly scary scene. Her eyes look even googlier with those glasses on. The quicker we get out of here, the better.